Jerome Powell. The president says the economy's in good shape, but he still complains about the head of the central bank. Says he's doing a terrible job because he's not lowering interest rates. On another network today, the president's top economic advisor said the White House is looking into whether the president has the authority to fire Chair Powell. Do you believe the president has the power and authority to fire the Fed president?
This is Congressman French Hill being asked this question.
Margaret, I don't, and I believe President Trump has spoken about this several times over the past few years, including recently. Mr. Powell's governorship, his chairmanship is up next spring. The president has vacancies coming up on the Fed board where he could name another governor. But look, just because Congress created the Fed and that we believe that it should be independent in the setting of monetary policy, it doesn't mean that it's immune from criticism. And every president since World War II has had choice words for the Fed chair when they've not been in sync with the direction of the president. So, look, Congress continues to do oversight. I set up a special task force to oversee the Fed's decision-making since the 2008 financial crisis. We have that investigation, review, and oversight underway, and we'll continue.
So, from what I understand, the only issue here is President Trump wants the interest rate lowered so he can refinance the country. You tricked me. I mean, stablecoin is next. I didn't trick you. But I want to ask you a question. Because you know this better than I do, can we just lower the interest rate to refi the country? Isn't that just a good idea? Is that a bad idea at this point?
Actually, you can make the argument the opposite is true.
Okay.
And there used to always be the idea where you get high inflation and you make inflation so high that you can pay off the debt with cheap dollars. And in other words, you devalue the dollar to such an extent because the debt is in dollars, it's not floating.
Right now, but we have to borrow money to pay it back. So you want to borrow at a lower interest rate. We don't have the money.
Yeah, you want to borrow at the lowest interest rate you can, but if you can pay back in cheap dollars, it's the same thing. There's nothing. It's a wash, one way or the other. This is not going to help anything.
Okay, stable.
The idea is that Trump's idea is to get in. I don't think it's for refinancing or anything.
That's what it says.
No, it is, but I think it's ready to crank up the economy because if everything is, you got
yeah.
2% interest rate, people are going to be borrowing more money. They're going to be starting more businesses. They're going to be hiring more people. And everyone's going to be happy. And people are buying more houses, and the prices are going to go up, and blah blah blah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it does sound like a good idea, but the way the Fed sees it is that, well, that you haven't proven anything yet with the tariff threats, and until that settles down,
I thought we had a surplus at the U.S. Treasury for the first time in years because of the tariff money.
I think that's bogus.
The answer is still stablecoin.
I think you'd acknowledge that most presidents might have those choice words behind closed doors, not on social media posts on a regular basis, Congressman. But on crypto, I want to ask you, crypto has been the Wild West, right? And it's because they don't have the same kind of regulation in the digital asset space that there does exist for banks and financial services. You've got a few measures coming up this week. How do you make sure, as you put these regulations in place that kind of help crypto become more mainstream, that it doesn't also benefit some of those on the black market, for example, who use this to evade oversight?
Jesus, but okay, Frenchie, go ahead.
Well, in the work in the Senate led by Bill Hagerty and Tim Scott and Cynthia Levis on the Genius Act to create a dollar-backed stablecoin, we've heavily influenced that legislation over the 2 years of previous work by the House. And our Clarity Act, which sets up the rules of the road for what's a commodity, what's a security, how to use digital assets, how to store them, how to custody them. These are the rules that will protect consumers, will limit access to our market and our investors from entities outside the United States trying to influence the crypto markets. We have none of that today. What we've had is a mismatch of rules by enforcement in the Biden administration. And I believe the bills we'll have on the House floor this week will protect investors, consumers, and make America, as President Trump wants, a leader in financial technology and crypto and digital assets innovation.
So stablecoin is happening, and it's totally going to be what we talked about. We chased our entire audience away with.
Yeah.
But of course, the most spectacular story of the week is just passing $119,000 a coin is Bitcoin.
Well, you know, sir, that the concern is that this is the patina of protection of consumers without actual muscle behind it. It was interesting to see many Americans who pulled mortgages might have noticed that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were buying some mortgages. That the head of the agency, the Federal Housing Agency, Bill Pulte, told them they'll have to prepare a proposal to review crypto as an asset on mortgage applications. Given a huge taxpayer stake in Fannie and Freddie, are you comfortable with people using crypto, something that isn't really, tangible in many ways, to pay for a down payment on a house?
It's not tangible, this crypto. What do you think?
Look at Bitcoin, for example. One can now buy Bitcoin. It is a commodity. It's determined that it's a commodity by the CFTC and the SEC. One can hold it in their brokerage account for an exchange-traded product, an ETF, ETP. It's now an asset for millions of Americans, and it certainly can be treated like a stock or a bond or cash as a contribution to someone's net worth to qualify for a mortgage. And if we pass clarity this week, which I expect we will on a bipartisan basis, and we craft a dollar-backed stablecoin like Genius offered by Senator Hagerty, we'll have the rules of the road. It won't be a patina of consumer enforcement. It will be real consumer enforcement, investor protection.
A down payment for a house.
CFTC, yes. SEC, and the bank regulators.
Yes, down payment. Remember when we called it Beanie Babies? Boy, were we doing.
I still call it that.
Because I told you should get someone who was 40,000 Yeah, okay.
That's a good one. Yeah, but
For a chatbot, we're a bunch of chatbots, man.
the guy's got something going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, this clip's on Harvard. This is
Yeah, this is kind of interesting.
I've always believed that there's something underfoot here. That is a vital threat that I think has got to freak these universities out, which is go after their accreditation.
The Department of Homeland Security says they're issuing subpoenas to Harvard to force them to comply with multiple requests for, quote, relevant information concerning foreign students. A statement from the DHS says the move comes after the university repeatedly refused past non-coercive requests to hand over the required information for its student visitor and exchange program certification. DHS Secretary Christine Long says, if Harvard won't defend the interests of its students, then we will. We tried to do things the easy way with Harvard. Now, through their refusal to cooperate, we have to do things the hard way. Harvard, like other universities, has allowed foreign students to abuse their visa privileges and advocate for violence and terrorism on campus. In response, Harvard told The Hill that Harvard is committed to following the law, and while the government's subpoenas are unwarranted, the university will continue to cooperate with lawful requests and obligations. The administration's ongoing retaliatory actions come as Harvard continues to defend itself and its students, faculty, and staff against harmful government overreach aimed at dictating whom private universities can admit and hire and what they can teach. In addition to the DHS subpoenas, the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services notifies Harvard's accreditor that the Ivy League university might be in violation of anti-discrimination laws, citing campus anti-Semitism.
Well, the anti-Semitism part is bullcrap when it comes to DEI, but for sure they've discriminated against students.
Yeah, the Chinese,
Asians, yeah, Asian Americans, of course.
Yeah, the lawsuit was settled and it was proven, and they started changing.
There's always a slowdown here because of traffic.
Private, and while fighting not getting government money.
Where's my $400 million, baby?
Where's our money? Where's our money? We're private. Give us more money. This makes no sense. This is hubris taken to an extreme. These guys, why are you doing this? Just, I don't get it personally.
Well, you know why? Is because Epstein went to Harvard, so there's probably something in the
That's exactly it. Yeah, there's a part two to that.
There is a part two right here.
Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon says accreditors have a responsibility to ensure institutions are upholding academic integrity and campus safety and culture. The Trump administration says they're currently in talks with Harvard. President Trump says he's optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely. What you do?
The notice comes 9 days after the Trump administration's task force to combat anti-Semitism sent a letter to Harvard telling them that their federal funding is at risk because the school allegedly violated their Jewish students' civil rights.
But again, federal funding for what?
Research.
You can get money from. How about the money for that? How about getting money from whom the research benefit from who there are people that I'm trying to put the sentence together. There's a beneficiary of the research. It's called the industry. It's called the pharma companies. They have tons of money. Some of them make $10 or $20 billion a year in net profits. Why aren't they giving them the money? Why is the taxpayer paying for research that benefits Pfizer?
I disagree. Without research money going to Harvard, we wouldn't have this.
When we get back here tonight, the new drug just approved by the FDA for your
I'm
dog.
telling you, without that, our DeFido would be dead. I really don't know.
So the podcast I'm listening to is No Agenda.
Yeah. COVID.
It's a long-running podcast.
I don't know. Johns Hopkins, they get money too. Johns Hopkins.
Oh, yeah, there's books. The whole thing is Johns Hopkins.
Well, we're not answering any questions here, but I do, in that vein, have more sources of Columbia University.
Columbia University may be close to a deal with the Trump administration to restore its federal funding. Sources say the deal would help the school regain access to more than $400 million in federal funding. The Trump administration pulled that money over anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protests on campus. Meanwhile, Columbia is expected to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement to victims of alleged civil rights violations and implement changes to its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. The agreement would also include improving campus security for Jewish students and boosting transparency about hiring and admissions.
And it's clear. He's doing it because he's on the Epstein list and Israel is telling him to do it. It's obvious. I don't see how it's so hard for you to just understand that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost.
With that, I want to thank you for your courage in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the cluster one. Say hello to my friend on the other end, the one, the only Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Yeah, well, the morning is currently partnership sequence and roughly the air subs in the water, and the names and nights out there.
Controls in the control room. Because you're 2514 today at the peak. That's nice. 2514. That's above average, right?
Well, it used to be average, but now it's above average because our average is currently 24 on
Yeah,
Sunday.
so that's above average. Then hello, trolls. They're in the troll room.
Probably was about 8.
They're in the troll room at trollroom.io, or they may be listening on a modern podcast app, which gives you the bad signal when we go live. I actually fired it off late. Sorry about that. My mistake. So if you're mad, don't worry, because when it comes out as a podcast, you'll be notified within 90 seconds. And that's why you want to use something from podcastapps.com. We are value for value. The only way that we gain and garner any income is through your time, your talent, your treasure, because saving money is also a good way for us to create a better product for you without spending money on thousands of producers. That's mad because I didn't do a meetup in New York. They're like, hey man, what's your dance card like?
If the rat doesn't get mad.
Yeah, he does. I think he does. On Wednesday nights when he's in the store. We like to thank everyone who supports us with the treasure of the 3 Gs, time, talent, and treasure. And we will thank everybody $50 and above, not below 50 for reason of anonymity. And then we have a special category for every single show. Not that it's necessary, but man, do we love it when people come in like Hollywood bigwigs and give us $200. That gets you a special bonus, which is a associate executive producer credit, which is real. Just like Hollywood, you can use it anywhere that these type of credits are recognized, like IMDb.com. And in addition to that, we'll also read your note. $300 or above. It's no surprise to become an executive producer of that particular episode, and we'll also read your note. And until the end of the month, we have our PhD promotion. So running your PhD in media deconstruction, if you want to see what that looks like, go to noagendarings.com. Click on the PhD tab. And Mike Musgrave from Lititz, Pennsylvania, came in with $1,000. So he gets the executive producer credit. He gets a PhD. And I think he's already a knight. He did not ask for a knighting because I don't see anything on the list.
Why don't we just put him on the list?
Well, I mean, we don't have a knight name, so he has to give us a knight name.
Yeah, he's got to
tell us
give us
what he
a
wants at the round table. My name is Mike Musgrave. I just wanted to say that you guys are the best. The information you provide is truly invaluable. Super clips and super cuts are my favorite. I hope you're enjoying this fragile ceasefire as much as I am. Have a great day, says Mike Musgrave. Thank you, Mike. Your PhD will be on in the way.
After he fills out the form.
Yes, I'll mention
Thomas
that.
Flanagan in McCall, Idaho, also $1,000, also PhD, ITM Jensen writes, I've been a listener for 3 years. My wife Kelly gets credit for this introduction.
Switcheroo.
For the introduction with a small donation. I would like you to consider using the phrase, the phase horse.
The phrase. He needs the phrase.
Okay, it says, using the phrase horse pucky in addition to bullcrap. It just has a nice ring to it in the same meaning. Horse pucky. Well, no, it doesn't have the exact same meaning because one comes from a bull, a steer, and the other one comes from a horse. It's a different animal. It's like saying dog shit. Could be also another bird.
So is this for his wife Kelly? Because he says
my wife Kelly gets credit for the introduction. What does that mean?
Maybe introducing him to the show.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a very mysterious note.
Well, you'll let us know, Thomas, and if you want your knighthood, let us know as well. 350 from Anonymous, who says, hey, Adam and John, I would like to remain anonymous from Massachusetts. Long-time listener, first donation, so a ceremonial dedouching is in order. Thank you. I was hit in the mouth with a brick during COVID and was floored with both of your insights. I will try to keep this short. Thank you for your courage and what you both provide for everyone who listens. I'm 29 years old and find it both fascinating and worrisome at how little people my age care about knowing what's going on in the world and the slanted deliveries we see every day. This is true. In the elevator, because we were in there so often with so many horrible elevator. You would hear people making jokes about Epstein's list, but they don't care. It's a punchline. They don't care.
How many people were in the elevator?
Oh, I see. There was a bachelor party, and all the bros came in. And Tina's like, bachelor party? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, man. Yeah, Epstein list, whatever. I'm proud to be armed with no agenda information, swinging my fist at everyone in front of me in the hopes at least one person tunes in. Trying to hit him in the mouth. Thank you again. And can I please get a big, loud goat karma? Why, of course you can. Thank you, Anonymous.
You've got
JJ Armandale, Iowa, 333. Simple, easy. Hey boys, long-time boner, first-time donor. Given the theory that the evil entities in the world need to tell us what they are doing via symbolism or numerology, I cannot believe I have not
Got
heard
too
the theory
close to the
before.
curb.
The theory being about Build Back Better from the previous regime. Now look at the big, beautiful bill. Cautious